Okay, so this video is going to show you how to complete activities 1.4.1, 1.4.2, 1.4.3, 1.4.4, 1.4.5, and 1.4.6, okay, for your project. So the first thing you need to do is you need to download this file. Now to download it, you can go to Telegram Web, and you can download here. It's this second file. So when you click download, you open the file, you click enable editing, and then you write your name. You don't need to write in your school ID or the date or anything like that. Okay, that's not important. Then you're going to save it. So file, save as, and you're going to save it in somewhere where you can find. Okay, because you're going to be submitting this to LMS. So on my desktop, I've made a CDI folder for 11 Advanced, and I can save it in there then. Okay, so once you save, we're going to do the first activity. Now the first activity, you're going to create a chassis, so the base part of the autonomous robot, and you're going to have it so that it can hold all of these pieces. So I open up Fusion 360, and I need to find this folder that has the parts in it. Okay, to find the folder, you can click up at the top here, you can click that back button. You find a folder that's 2020, 2021, Term 1, 11 Advanced 1, and there's a folder here called Parts. Okay, the next thing I need to do is I need to sketch a base piece. So I go to Sketch, Rectangle, Center Rectangle, and I click down here on this piece, so on the floor. And starting in the center, I make a rectangle that's 140 by 140. Now what you can do is, if you want, you can type in 140, and if you press tab, then you can see it switches between the two 140s. So 140 and 140, and there we have it. That's my square. Now the reason that I have my square 140 by 140 is because this is the maximum size that a 3D printer can use. Okay, the next thing we need to start doing is we need to start bringing in all of these parts. So my battery holder, my two sensors, my LN298, so this is for the motors, my Raspberry Pi, and my motor. Before I do anything, I have to save. So I go File and Save, and I just call this my name, and you can write chassis as well. So CHASSIS, the chassis, and I save. Okay, and my file should be here somewhere. There it is, Connor Chassis. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing in these parts. To do that, I just click on my part and I drag it in. Okay, and I'm just going to zoom out so I can see it a little bit better. Now, to move this, there's like a little kind of a round button in the middle, and there's this piece here. Both of these allow me to move the wheel. I can also move it, look, backwards in a certain direction, or I can move it like this. Okay, so I've got a lot of different ways to move it. I want to place my wheel near the back here somewhere. Okay, so my wheel is going to be like this. The wheel is going to be outside of the base, and the motor is going to be inside it. Once I'm happy, I need to press OK. Okay, now I bring my second motor in, and this motor, if I look at it, if I move it, it's not quite in the same way that I want it to be. So see, if I bring it over here, the motor is the opposite way around. I want it to be the same like this. So to do that, I'm just going to change my orientation, and you can see this wheel. So when I move this wheel, you can see it starts to move it around. So I'm going to move it there. And again, I'm going to look from the top. I can move my pieces over like that, so it's the same as the other side. Okay, so now I've got my two wheels in. Again, you need to press OK. The next piece I'm going to bring in is this Raspberry Pi. So I click and I drag. So what I notice as well is at the side, I can see all of these parts. So I have my wheel 1, I have my wheel number 2, and I have my Raspberry Pi. My Raspberry Pi, if I select all 3, and you see, I can move all 3 of them at the same time. So I want to deselect these other ones. So I'll just cancel. When I cancel and I try to move, I can't move my piece. Okay, it won't move for me. So what I need to do is over here where it says Raspberry Pi, I right click and there should be a button here that says Move Copy. So there it is. And that just brings me back into this menu. Okay, it's the same if I move this and I forget to press OK, or if I don't press OK, I can move it again. So if I want to move my wheels afterwards, or if I want to move my parts afterwards, I can. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in the rest of the parts fairly quickly. So the battery is the next one I'm going to bring in. And the battery, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to move it backwards. I'm going to just have a quick look at this in 3D as well. Okay, so I can see here my battery, it goes below where my wheels are, so I'm just going to use this to move it up. And there, look, it's a little bit off the ground, but it's okay. So I go from the top and I press OK. So I have my battery in. I've got 2 more pieces. The next one I'm going to bring in is this LN. So again, this one is for my motors. So this is going to allow the 2 wheels to move. I'm going to connect the 2 motors to this. And I'll just give it a second. Okay, so I just paused the video to let this to move in because my laptop is a little slow. So again, I just move it into position. I'm going to move it back close to here. So you can see as well now, like my pieces are a little bit on top of each other. So again, if I want to move, I want to move my Raspberry Pi. Sorry, I just cancelled there. So move. And I can just move it up a little bit like this. And I can press OK. So now when I look in 3D, look, all of my parts are starting to come together. I have 2 more pieces. I have my sensor here, which I'm going to bring in. So this sensor is the one that's going to sense how far away the object is. So remember, we said that the line follower is going to stop when it's 5 centimeters away from something. So this has to go either on the front or on the, well, it has to go on the front because it's going to move forwards. So I'm just going to rotate it like this. And I'm going to go to the side. And I'm going to rotate it upwards like this. So like I said, this has to be on kind of the front side of it. And I'm just going to move it to the front here. I'll zoom out. So this has to go on the front somewhere. Okay, and the sensors here as well are going to come out past it. If the sensors are inside, you know, it's going to just see the inside of the body. So it has to be on the outside. So I press OK. And this IR sensor, this is going to go on the bottom. Okay, this is going to sense where the line is and it's going to follow the line. So my sensor here, again, I'm going to turn it. And I want to flip it like this. Oops. And I'm just going to move it over a little bit. And I'm going to move it down because it's going to be on the bottom. And I'm just going to bring it around because the front of the sensor should be facing outwards. Okay, so I'm just going to look at it, make sure I have it in the place where I want it. Move it up a little bit. Yeah, so this will go here. This sensor will go here. So now I have all of my pieces in place. If you look at it in 3D, you can kind of get an idea of it. So if I look at my motor here, look, it's a bit off. I can find which one it is. and I can press move, and I'll just move it up into position so that they're kind of the same. Okay, so that's what I need to do. So I have my sensors on the front, I have my Raspberry Pi, and I have all of my other parts. The next thing that I want to do is I want to get a picture of this and put it into my to my Microsoft Word file. So there's a few different ways to do this. One of the ways is there is an app on your laptop called Snipping Tool. So if you search for Snipping Tool, it's going to come up like this. When I press New, I select what I want to take my picture of. So I want a picture of this. I can then go back into my Microsoft Word document and right click here and paste. And there I have my picture inside here. Okay. And that's that activity finished. So you just need to put in a picture like this. The next activity, 1.4.2, you have all of your parts sketched. So the next thing is that you want to do, is you want to make a design of the chassis. So you need to draw it, and you need to draw it in 3D with some notes and so sketches and notes. So I've already done a few pictures, and I'm just going to put them in here now. Okay, so earlier I did some sketches then. So I've sketched a suitable chassis. So what I did was in 3D, I just done a quick sketch like this. So I put in where all of my parts were. So I have my Raspberry Pi, my servo motor, my battery, my motor, my sensor. So I just have all of these on like a kind of a 3D drawing. And like I said, I've done this, it took me 2 minutes, okay? So I'm presuming you do it, it's going to be a little faster. Or a little, you should do it in a bit more detail. Maybe colors too if you have it. So I've just come up with like a basic shape for the base piece. It's very important on this as well that you do an advantage and a disadvantage. So any advantage or any disadvantage you can think of, you can put it here. So maybe like my disadvantage is that it's no curves on the back. So no curved shape on the back. Maybe your advantage is that it holds all the pieces. Holds all of the pieces together. Okay, so I've made a design for my chassis, and I've also made a design for my body. Okay, so where am I gone? There it is. Okay, so I also have a design for my body. So I have open and close for passengers, so you can see this part at the front opens and closes. Glass for them to see. I've put my sensors here on the front. I've got my UAE flag, and I've got my Expo logo. Okay, and again, you need to have advantages and disadvantages. So your advantage may be like passengers can see, and your disadvantage may be no way to attach to the base. Okay, so you need to come up with a design for your base, or for your chassis, and for your body. For activity, where is it? Activity 1.4.4, 1.5.5, and 1.4.6. You just need to do this again. Okay, so you need to just repeat the steps, but just change things around a little bit. You know, make a different design. Lay out these pieces differently. Maybe turn your battery sideways. Maybe have your battery flat. You know? And the same as this. Just change around the pieces. Okay, so that should tell you how to do activity 1.4.1, 1.4.2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so please let me know if you have any trouble during the week. And then next week we'll finish off this document, and hopefully we will send it to LMS then too. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.